Hey y'all, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to show you how I made Zero's leg armor. I made my template using brown shipping paper and drawing on my design. After cutting out the template, I proceed to clean up the edges. The template is only for one half, so I'll need to flip it to create both sides, completing one leg. You can see here I'm just checking the fitment. Once I'm happy with the template, I trace it onto cardstock paper and cut it out. I traced my template on 10mm HD foam 4 times. After tracing all of my templates, I'm finally able to cut them all out. Here is the end result after they're all cut out. After cutting, you already know we're about to glue. So glue, wait a few minutes, and you're able to stick them all together. Right here I'm just checking the fitment just to make sure everything lines up as it should. With that aside, I move on to the pucks at the bottom of the leg. On the outside of the puck, I made a 45-degree angle cut, and on the inside, I do a 90-degree straight cut. After cutting out all of my pieces, I apply contact cement on each end. Once the glue is tacky, I then attach them together, creating my little cones. Now I repeat the exact same process but with a much smaller set of cones that will be inserted inside the bigger cones. After cutting out each piece, I carefully scored a line in the entirety of the inner puck, being careful not to cut all the way through the foam piece. After scoring my lines, I went back over it with my heat gun to open them up. Just like the big boys, I'm going to glue the ends, wait till the glue gets nice and tacky, and attach them all together. After all that was done, I did glue the outer and inner puck together, creating one unipuck, and this is the end result. For the bulb inside of the puck, I ordered 70mm clear plastic ball ornaments from Amazon and airbrushed 3 layers of green. Once the paint is dry, I'll go over it with 400 grit sandpaper to rough up the outside surface and help diffuse the light. I needed to trim off the excess material, so I did draw on a line where I'm going to cut and apply tape over it, so as I cut it, that tape prevents the acrylic from breaking. To secure the acrylic domes to the pucks, I used contact cement and went back over it with hot glue to seal up any loose gaps. And here's how the assembled puck looks. Here I'm sketching out the design for the leg armor. I made a mark at 6 inches from the bottom and I went over 3 inches away from the center line on each side and connect the dots. Using my ruler, I'm marking 1.25 inch spacing from the bottom up to keep a consistent design as I go along the leg. After making all of my dots, I'm able to go back over it by connecting all of them. I made a 8x6 diamond to attach at the top of Zero's leg armor. For the bottom of the diamond, I did 2 45-degree angle cuts, and for the top, I did regular 90-degree cuts. I did a V-groove cut at the middle of the diamond to give it a more defined edge. I used my heat gun to seal the foam and fold it to my desired shape. I mark where I want the diamond to sit on the leg armor, and once I'm happy, I apply a layer of contact cement on both pieces and finally carefully attach them all together. So far, this is how it looks. I glued a few extra layers of foam at the top to make a shim to better fit my leg. I used a 15mm half round dowel that I picked up from Joann's to clean up the top of the leg armor. With my wood burner, I go over the panel lines that I made earlier. I trace the inside of the puck on the leg armor and use my old soldering iron to burn a hole in the middle that'll house the LEDs. With the holes I just made, I insert my little LED housings. With my utility knife, I cut out the circle that I made earlier. The cut really doesn't have to be perfect since no one's going to see it anyways. Basically, this is how everything is going to attach together. This is how I want everything to look when it's all done. That circle I just cut out, I'm going to reinsert it on the inside, just like this. Once I'm happy with my placement, you already know, we're going to glue all of these pieces together. I tried to take my time coupling these two pieces together because once that glue touches itself, that's it. There's no going back. Of course, I can't forget the little circle too. Here's my progress so far. So I decided to make a new line here, which means I'll have to get rid of that line that I made right here. Once I'm happy with my panel line, I carefully go over it with my wood burner. Since I already had the wood burner out, I went over the entire leg, adding some battle damage. I went over my seams using the rotary tool with a stone bit attached. I went back over my seams with 400 grit sandpaper. I used quick seal to go over my seams and any mistakes that I made. After a few layers, this is my end result. I taped off the bulbs and went over with Plastidip. After 3 coats of Plastidip, I applied 3 layers of gold paint. With the paint sitting overnight, I start with my battery, LEDs, and some extra wires. If you saw my last video, you saw that I put Velcro in the boot. Well, the battery pack has the hook side of the Velcro. Now I'm going to add some extra wires for the inside LEDs as they'll have to travel a longer distance to the outside edge of the leg armor where the battery holder is. Right here, I'm just stripping the ends of the wires to get them ready to be soldered together. I used my helping hands to hold my wires as I solder them together. I'm not the best at it, but it gets the job done. Just a quick test to make sure there's no shortage and everything still works.
Yeah, boy.
After letting my gold paint sit for a day, I now move on to 2 layers of black paint. Now I remove the masking tape and see how my progress is looking. After adding my white layers for the diamond and the puck, I move on to the gray layer at the very top of the leg armor. I only airbrushed 3 layers for this part. This was the final stage of demasking. so everything is finally coming together. After applying a few layers of clear coat to protect my paint, I then go over it with silver rub and buff on my paintbrush to add a little bit of battle damage and wear and tear at certain places that I thought would fit, and applying my black shoe polish along that paint to dirty it up some more. Finally, I'm able to sit the LEDs inside the holders and secure them down with hot glue. I made a trench for the wires and glued them in with my hot glue and ended up with this wild mess you see here. With the lights finally done, here's the end result. Here's the finished leg armor. I'm going to put out the full suit up video, so y'all stay tuned for that. Until then, I want to thank you all for watching, and y'all take care.